Well, we have no comment at this point until the final decision is made by Judge Taylor.
Do you feel the plaintiffs may be trying to prove up that DTS does have the units available to transport these students for you?
Jim, we have no comment.
May I ask you one other question? There has been this problem of leasing buses from private sources, and there seems to be some kind of a legal problem in these lease agreements. Could you tell me what that is?
No, we have no comment on our no comment.
Thank you, sir.
Because of the uncertainties, we did dispatch one of our attorneys, Mr. John Clarkson, to Washington, D.C. In fact, Mr. Clarkson is in Washington now, pursuing this question. He called me about 30 minutes ago from the Office of Emergency Preparedness, where he had a conference with officials there, and at that time, he indicated that they have, that is, the Office of Emergency Preparedness in Washington, has ruled that we do in this district have individual contracts that, as far as they're concerned, that teachers' contractual year starts on August the 24th. Therefore, as they see it now, the wage and price freeze would apply to employees of the school district.
Well, I wouldn't say the press, really. I think anybody who's interested in the Dallas Cowboys will take sides because everybody has opinions, and I appreciate that, and that's what makes football a great game. It is. But to answer your question, yes, I would think they do have taken sides.
Against Baltimore, you're going to split it up at quarterback?
Yes, we will start Craig Martin at quarterback for the first half, and then Roger Staubach will play the second half, regardless of how the game stands at halftime.
Why are you changing from the past where you sort of played it by ear?
Well, mainly because we're coming up now into the top teams in the league, and I want to be sure that both quarterbacks work equally against teams like Baltimore.
Are you getting at all tired of being asked about the quarterback situation?
Well, naturally you do get tired of it but I can't avoid it. I'll say that, because it is a very important point to our football team, to everybody that watches us, so I have to go ahead and bear with it.
We feel that if this is the case where a lonely person has taken the child, that they would take good care of it. They would love the child. They would see that it is fed properly, and that it would, at this time, we have no reason to believe that it has any harm come to it.
If indeed the plumbers ratify the contract, a sigh of relief will be heard coming from Seven Seas Amusement Park in Arlington. Plagued by strikes and bad weather, construction was delayed, causing officials to put off opening until April 1st, 1972. It had been scheduled to open this summer. It appears now that the plumbers' strike might have ended not a moment too soon. I talked with Seven Seas Public Relations Director Larry Todd about what might have happened had the strike continued.
Jerry, had the strike not ended, we probably would have lost a very large investment here of several $100,000 worth of animals. This includes our elephant seals, our penguins, our sea lions, and the animals that we have in already, because they depend upon the water for their survival. If we'd lost this large amount of animals, we would have been in a lot of trouble.
How much time do you need from this point to complete operations here at Seven Seas?
Jerry, we're counting on about 75 to 80 actual working days. And if the weather doesn't, if it doesn't snow or something, we're in good shape. But we can complete full construction after the 75 to 80 days and then start rehearsing our live shows.
Another structure hard hit by the plumbers' strike was Texas Stadium. After an announcement of the tentative agreement was made last night, Dallas Cowboy officials were quick to say that if weather and other factors cooperate, football fans might probably see Dallas and Washington play on October 3rd. Officials of Texas Stadium and Seven Seas are breathing a little easier, but they'll relax even more if the rank and file ratify the agreement and the plumber's strike is, if you'll pardon the expression, water under the bridge. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News, on the move at Seven Seas in Arlington.
The Labor Department has added Fort Worth to that list of cities with unemployment rates exceeding 6%. Nationwide, that list now contains 62 towns out of the top 150 labor markets. That's the highest total since the spring of '62. There are a variety of causes for high unemployment. Some cities, like Shreveport, Louisiana, and Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, are simply unable to provide enough new jobs for all the new people entering the labor force. But the problem in Fort Worth is that a cutback in defense and aerospace spending by the federal government has added to the troubles of an expanding labor force. I asked Fort Worth Mayor R.M. Sharkey Stovall what the city is doing to try to reduce the problem.
Recently, we had placed a contract with Volt Aerospace out here for the development of a transit system for the airport. This will create about 1,750 jobs. Recently, the city of Fort Worth and Tarrant County have both become eligible for the Emergency Employment Act funds. The city of Fort Worth will receive about $500,000, and Tarrant County will receive about $500,000. And we have tentatively proposed to hire about 100 people at a cost of $444,000 with our part of the emergency funds.
Dallas, though, is in relatively good shape. June figures showed unemployment at 3.7%. But Dallas also has the aerospace industry as a large part of its economy, and if things get any tighter in that area, we can look for Dallas figures to get progressively worse. Fort Worth has a hope, however. If the president's proposed tax credit for industrial expansion goes through, that 6% unemployment should go down to around 4% within a couple of years. There are a lot of ifs attached, but when you're this bad off, the only way is up. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
Of course, I came to TCU for one reason. That was to build a winning team here, and this is my last chance, and third time's a charm, and I hope it's a winning season for me, and this is the biggest goal I have to meet right now.
What are your thoughts on Coach Pittman's coaching techniques?
Coach Pittman is a really organized coach, and he knows how to talk to the players and get it over to the players what he wants out of them. And of course, he's got a great staff, and they know what it takes to be a winning football team.
Would you tell us a little bit about the type of defense you'll be using?
Jerry, we use a four-man front, well, I call it the split four. A lot of people call it a 40 defense, but we have 4 people on the line of scrimmage and 4 linebackers and a 3-deep setup. We feel like that from this alignment that we can adjust to the many varied formations that you see during the course of a football season with a minimum amount of teaching.
It's different from last year.
instead of using so much size up front, we're using more linebackers and a little bit more speed and agility.
Is Coach Pittman satisfied with your size? Has he asked you to trim down any?
Well, Coach Pittman really hadn't said one way or the other. My linebacker coach last spring felt like I needed to put on a little weight. I was at 207, and I came back at 215, and I could probably play at that size, I believe.
Buster Brannon, who's been around a number of years, was commenting earlier this morning over a cup of coffee that the Frogs this year would get after them. Do you echo those sentiments?
Yes, sir, I sure do. This new coaching staff, leaves you with that, inspiration. They're going to get us all fired up. I know they are, because I've seen it in spring and I've seen it this fall. I think, most of the players want to win for these men.
As you know, it's not how much you know, but how much you can get across to those young men that are going to be playing on Saturday.
If Coach Jim is as successful here at TCU as he has been at Tulane, these empty stands will soon be full of supporting fans for the Frogs. There's a new look at TCU, and I think it'll be an exciting one. Next stop on the tour, Lubbock and Texas Tech. From Amon Carter Field, this is Jerry Haynes for Channel 8 Sports.
Well, Jim, what we're trying to establish is that we think the evidence shows, the facts show that there are buses available to implement the school board's original plan, which is what the court adopted, and that it can be implemented on September 7th. So, and the motion that we filed yesterday, I think, makes that very clear and states our position that we think that if the school board uses imagination and looks for the transportation that is available, that there is transportation available from Dallas Transit System and from other sources that can be used to open the schools and implement the plan on September 7th.
Tomorrow.
That we make up a third of the population, and certainly we would, when we do have something that we would like to propose in the area of taxation, we would have united strength, we'd have a united tax, and we would certainly be heard.
Have you talked to other council members about this?
Well, we briefly discussed it yesterday, and they had said they would like to hear more about it. I anticipate their support, of course. I have talked to the Texas Municipal League, and they think it's a good idea. As a matter of fact, on October the 5th, I will appear before the Texas Municipal League's League of Big Cities to make this proposal.
What kind of real benefits could we see from it?
Well, I think the benefits are very obvious. We would have united strength, we'd have improved taxing system, and we'd have uniform taxes.